Before there were big rigs on I-55, before there were UPS hubs, Amazon docks, and handling, handheld scanners, there were guys standing in the mud behind a wagon, hauling freight with horses, 12 to 18 hours a day. Sound familiar? 7 days a week for about $2 a day. No overtime, no HR, no, we're a family fucking pizza party. Just busted backs, frostbit fingers, and bosses who treated them like the horses they were driving. And those guys, those were the first Teamsters. This is the real story, guys, not the polished PR version. This is the history, the blood, the fights, the corruption, the redemption, and the reason that whether you love unions or hate them, you cannot tell the story of American work without telling the story of the Teamsters. So let's get into it. Welcome back to the Garage Mind. I'm Tony as always, and let's get into this one. Today we're going into the deep, deep belly of the beast. This is the Garage Mind, the place where we grab a drink, talk like adults, and actually use our brains instead of letting the internet do the thinking for us, or AI. No hustle bros, gurus, no corporate talk, no fake positivity, just real stories, real people, and the stuff you're not getting in the company trading videos. Like I said, guys, I'm Tony. If you listen to the show, you know who I am. And I sling booze for a living. I've put in the miles on a truck. I've drove all sorts of trucks. I've been in the meetings, in the negotiations, in the 4:30 a.m. alarms, in the 9 p.m. fucking nights. Why am I still awake? Just thinking to myself, the 16-hour shifts. I've done it all. And I'm also a proud union guy, a proud Teamster. So when I say this one matters to me, I mean it. This one matters because I've always wondered the history. And, recently with, my personal job and my strike going on, I really wondered, what the Teamsters before me were like and what is the history? Because I want to know what I'm a part of, So tonight, the Teamsters it is. Where they came from, how they got so big, the ugly truth, the beautiful truth, and why are we, why are any working person, union or not, why you guys should know this story, why you should know the history. Because, like I said, union or not, I think this story, now that I've done the research and I figured it out, I mean, it made me even more proud to be a Teamster. And, Teamster or not, union or not, this is just a story of what hardworking Americans can do when they set their mind to it. And we just fucking get it done. So let's start with something simple. What even is a Teamster? Because if you're listening to this and you're younger, you probably just hear Teamster and think, I don't know, trucks. I don't know, maybe a guy who likes to build teams, maybe delivery dudes. Well, originally Teamsters was literally the dude driving a team of horses. I mean, think of that. He was the guy driving the horses. That was the job title. You had a team of horses hitched to a wagon. Now, if you're familiar, everybody's getting who thunder and lightning is. You were that guy. You were moving freight, coal, lumber, grain, beer, whatever it was, you were moving it. And you were the one steering it through mud, snow, and all the chaos, all the bullshit, all the bad weather, all the storms. That was, that in a sense, that was the logistics system. There wasn't GPS. I love now too when the old guys at work, you remember when we had to use MapQuest or they actually use maps? I mean, I don't even think it's hard. I don't even think I could do it. There was no GPS. There was no forklifts, no tracking numbers, just a human being, a wagon, and a boss who absolutely did not care if you had a family dinner or a bum knee. Sound familiar? Still kind of sounds same way today. You know, you were paid garbage. You worked insane hours. If you got hurt, there was no incident report back then. You were just gone, replaced. And yet, those guys were the veins of the economy. They were the machine. You want food in the city? You want materials on your job site? You want anything moved or replaced? You call a fucking Teamster. Sure, the thought is you were invisible but essential. Sound familiar? Now imagine being one of those drivers back in the late 1800s. You're hauling all day, you're exhausted, you finally finish a brutal week, and you look at your pay and you're like, fuck. Your pay's like, it's cool. That's just enough to keep me from actually dying. I mean, that was the mindset, you know, um, whatever. I just got enough to get through it, not to die. There is no standards. There wasn't no standards. Every boss set their own rules. Some guys get paid a little, some guys get paid a little more, some a little less, some get fired for blinking fucking wrong. It was chaos. It was just, it was the Wild West. And when workers are in chaos, bosses are in heaven. And remember that because that's sort of, what I'm telling people lately, especially with the strike. They want chaos. They want you wondering. Sometimes they just do shit just to keep you fucking confused. I mean, none of it ever really makes sense because here's their game. If I can keep you all separate, if I can keep you competing with each other, then the thought is they never have to pay any of you what you're actually worth. And there's been tons of stories too, like, the Teamsters or the boats. I mean, if this is even current day, they try to get in, you have to get, I think it's 53rd and 1, 53 and 1. So you have to get like more than half or whatever just by one. And they'll fire the three that they know are going to say yes right before. There's steps to take is that it just makes the process of longer of getting Teamsters into a barn, but it's chaos. And it's been a battle since the 1800s. All right. So like the whole purpose of this too is, because I'm currently going through a strike and like I said, I wanted to know, what I'm fighting for and where this all started and I know what it being a Teamster is and I know what it's about. I'm very proud to be one, but I want to know like the history, like where they started. I want to know even deeper. Like I said, if you guys listen to the Garage Mind, curiosity is what fuels my soul. I gotta stay curious, gotta stay curious. So one guy's, willing to haul for less and boom, just like that, you're replaced. or he's got better hours than you. You're done. You're gone. Your wagon beat to hell and you ask for repairs. Cool. I'll find another guy who won't fucking complain. I mean, that's still how it is, man. It's the same story over and over. Keep the workers desperate, keep them isolated, keep them scared. But here's where the plot turns. Because slowly, these drivers start to talk. They start to organize in the yard, in the tavern, at the stables. You know, they say, hey, what are they paying you? Do you work Sundays too? You know, they start to conversate with each other and find out, you know, did your boss just cut your rate and tell you to be grateful? You still have a job? Funny fact. I'm going to pause there too, just thinking about that when I said that. It still pisses me off today at my current job. We had a safety meeting and the lady from HR, the safety lady person, whatever the fuck she is. We were talking about, and the guy that was talking to her is actually a guy who's been there a long time. He's vet at my job, just retired actually. Shout out Angelo, great fucking dude. He was telling her, these things that you're saying are still happening. Like the job isn't getting safer. And she said it is. He's been there 25 years, way longer than you ever have. It's not the case. It's still the same. And she told him to shut up because he's lucky to have a job. She told all of us. I mean, that's the stuff we're dealing with. I mean, the disrespect, it's fucking nuts. Sorry, just had to let that one out. But anyway, people start talking. They start figuring out, what they're doing is bullshit, this and that. And that's how it all starts. Not with a grand plan, just with some dudes comparing notes and realizing we're all getting screwed. So now by the late 1800s, these drivers start forming little groups, unions, associations, whatever you want to call them. But at first, it's messy. And just like anything, it always is. It's never perfect, especially when it's something brand new. People don't even know what it is. You've got the team of drivers international. That's one union over there. You've got another union, Teamsters National Union over there. And they're kind of doing the same thing. Both groups are doing the same thing, but kind of differently. But they're competing, or maybe they're stepping on each other. And sometimes, certain teams are undercutting other teams or making it worse for other people, or they're undercutting each other. It's like having two fight camps in the same gym, punching each other instead of the actual opponent. You like that MMA reference? I like. It's what I know well. Just try to throw that slick one in there. Hope you guys like it. So anyway, and then you get labor leaders stepping in like, hey, idiots, you're all drivers. You're all getting abused. Maybe stop beating each other up and aim the energy at people that are actually writing the checks, that are actually screwing you guys. So now we fast forward to 1903. In a joint convention, they merge and become the International Brotherhood of Teamsters. Now, brotherhood is important. It's everything. Now, current day sisterhood as well. Thank you to the great ladies who service the country as well. So brotherhood, guys, it's very important. They didn't say association of mildly interested contractors. They said brotherhood. That word implies I'm responsible for you and you're responsible for me. That right there gives me chills, guys. We win together. We, you know, we win together or we get crushed separately. From that point on, it stops being just a random group of drivers and starts becoming a force, a fucking brotherhood. Now, this is the part that corporate history books like to skip past. We hear union and we think conferences, pamphlets, some guy in a polo shirt handing out flyers, in the break room, some fucking guy we don't even know. Nah. The early fights were violent. People got beaten up. People got killed. I mean, this shit was insane. Look these fights up. These fights were brutal. I mean, back in the day was no joke. Take the big strikes in the early 1900s. Delivery drivers, freight haulers, warehouse guys refusing to move product until there was a better deal, a fair contract. You had police siding with the bosses, private security, fucking goons, strike breakers, strike busters, people getting attacked, trying to hold the line. I mean, these people were getting attacked. I saw some of the videos that Jesus. I mean, this was legit. Sometimes I wish we could go back to a little, because scabs get a little violent and they act like criminals, but we can't really do too much about it. You don't get a 40-hour work week. Safer trucks, benefits, and some kind of say, I guess, in your job without someone somewhere getting their head cracked open first, or maybe a knuckle sandwich, if you will. This is what I'm talking about. It was real. It was fucking nuts. It was crazy. I mean, I'm seeing videos of baseball bats just setting cars on fire, maybe even blowing them up. I mean, they were fucking fuck. This is where I think we forget. We show up now like, man, I don't want to go to that meeting. It's boring. I know I've done it. Meanwhile, back then, a meeting might mean going home with a broken jaw or broken ribs. When you hear the word Teamsters, I want you to think about the guys that never made it into the picture. The ones whose names were never written down, who just refused to move a wagon, refused to cross a line, and paid for it. Real blood built this thing. As the country modernizes, those horse teams start turning into trucks. What doesn't change is the basic fact you still need someone to move that stuff. You need someone to distribute it. So the Teamsters shift from wagons to motor truck drivers, freight handlers, warehouses, delivery drivers. They grow city to city, contract to contract. You've got the leadership like Daniel J. Tobin in the early 1900s. He was leading the thing for decades. Man was a genius, helping turn into, he turned it into like from small union into national beast. We owe a lot to him. He takes over in 1907 to be exact. And under his watch, the Teamsters expand like crazy. Even through World War I, the Great Depression, all of it. Membership grows, bargaining power grows. The employers who used to laugh at the drivers, guess what? now have to make them serious. They have to make them serious. They have to take them serious. They have to listen to them. They have a voice. Because here's the reality. If the Teamsters stop, if they really stop moving, the economy stops breathing. I think the old Hoffa quote is, if you got it, a truck brought it. Absolutely true. And that's leverage. People think power is a corner office and a title. Power, real power, guys, is, can I shut this place down if I walk away? Now, if we stop the story there, it's just a feel good Hallmark movie. Poor workers unionize, they fight, good fight, they win, roll credits. We've heard the story a million times. But that's not life, guys. That's not real life. Real life is messy as hell. Once you get big, once there's big money involved, money is everything. Politics get involved. Once you're sitting across from huge companies, negotiations, billions of dollars in wages, and with whether it be in wages or benefits over time, you're gonna attract some fucking snakes. The Teamsters have had some very ugly chapters. There's been some corruption. Yes, mob ties. Leaders who stopped representing the rank and file and started protecting themselves. That's all there. But guys, keep in mind, not everybody is good. You have bad in everything. You have bad in ethnicities. You have bad in cultures. There's good and bad. There will always be good and bad. Can't, just because a few bad apples, you can't just decide that the whole machine is broken. And for these bad guys, you don't have to dig deep to find the scandals. Oh, I just cracked my neck. That was phenomenal. If you're listening to this and you're like, yeah, that's why I don't trust unions. I get it, 100%. I was a part of a bad one before, and then I joined a real one, Local 710 out of Mokina. Look them up. They're one of the best. There are people who will genuinely, be betrayed by their own leadership. Guys who paid dues, who walked the lines, who believed in the idea, and then found out the dude in the suit on the fucking stage was playing both sides. That betrayal cuts deep. It sucks. But here's the important thing to remember. The corruption was never the core. It was the infection. The core is still the same thing. Those wagon drivers wanted a fair shake for the people that were actually doing the work, not just sitting back and getting rich. Unions are a tool. They are a hammer. As Dell says, give me the hammer. They are a hammer that can build a house or smash a window. It depends on who's holding it. Who's holding that hammer? It can be used two ways. You get what I'm saying? Same thing with a knife. It could be used to cut fruit or it could be used to stab somebody. It depends on who's holding it. The Teamsters, at their worst, that's what everyone loves to make documentaries about. The Teamsters, at their best, that's what changed millions of lives. Now, let's fast forward to today, till now, current times. You've got the International Brotherhood of Teamsters as one of the largest most diverse unions in the United States of America. We're talking freight, package delivery, public sectors, warehouse workers, airline related jobs, even food distribution. If it moves, there's probably a Teamster somewhere close by. Think about that for a second. Every box on your porch, every pallet on a dock, every truck you see on the road, that's union. There's a lineage there. Every truck that you see that's currently union has a lineage. A straight line from some dude in the 1890s, guiding a horse through the mud, to the guy in 2026 scanning a package at 3 a.m. so somebody's kid can get their birthday gift on time. You might be listening to this on your commute or on your route, or it might be on a dock, or even just sitting in your car on break, or hiding in the walk-in cooler, pretending to do inventory while catching your breath. I'm just saying that because that's what I used to do. That's the famous hideout for bartenders and barbacks. Just saying. Anyway, here's the truth. You are part of that story now. I am part of that story. If you're a Teamster, you're a part of that story. You're not just a number on a route. You're a living, breathing link in a chain that started with those horses and wagons. That's why in the symbol, there's two horses, lightning and thunder. Those are the OGs. When you stand up for yourself and your coworkers, when you say no, that's not safe. When you show up to vote, when you support a brother or sister going through it, that right there, you're doing exactly what those first Teamsters did. Thank you. Thank you to them. I wonder if you go back in time and if they even could see it now and imagine, like if they thought that it would be this one day, or, I wonder how proud they'd be. I'm sure they'd be proud. Would just love to hear how that felt, especially the ones who didn't make it because of the fights, because of, the bloody wars over it. I just wondered how proud they would be if they saw what the Teamsters are today. We're just doing it with better boots. Everything they did, we're just doing it with better boots, more technology, and worse traffic. But let me tell you something. Let me bring this back to us, because the Garage Mind is not a history podcast. I'm not here to recite dates and names like a textbook. I'm here to talk about what this does inside your chest. I deliver booze. I know what heavy feels like. I know what it's like to be on your route, number 6 of the day, and staring at a suitcase thinking, I didn't get paid, or I don't get paid enough for this shit. I know what it's like to get a text from management at 4 p.m. asking how much longer on your day, or how much longer on your break, or I need you to go somewhere when you've already completed a whole fucking days of work. Or I need you to do me a favor when, you're already running on fumes. So when I read about these guys 100+ years ago, hauling way more weight with way less protection, and then finally saying, you know what? Screw this. We deserve better. We deserve more. I feel that. And I know you feel that. Because every worker knows where their breaking point is. The genius of the Teamsters wasn't just that they organized. It's that they realize my breaking point isn't just about me. It's about us. It's bigger than ourselves. If I stand alone, I break. If I stand with you, we bend the world a little. And yeah, it's not perfect and nothing ever is. Some locals are strong, 7-10, baby. Some are weak. Some leaders are warriors, fucking dogs. You know, the leaders of the Teamsters now, O'Brien is a fucking beast, that guy. That accent just fucking helps too. You know, I always think of like Scottish, like Braveheart. They may take our women, but they'll never take our freedom. Fuck yeah. That movie still gives me goosebumps. I don't know if it's him or the accent. You know, some local leaders are clowns. Some contracts feel like victories. Some feel like, man, we left meat on the bone. But the alternative is going back to wagons in the mud. $2 a day and no voice. You can be mad at your union and still understand that the concept of solidarity is one of the most powerful, and I mean powerful, guys, inventions we have. Here's the dangerous thing about modern life. We forget. We always forget. We forget how bad it was. We see benefits. We see wages. We see safety standards. And we think they just kind of happened. Like they were included in a software update. But every gain you enjoy comes from someone before you. Someone before you deciding to be a problem. Someone who refused to keep their head down. Some guy who decided, I'm done missing time with my family. Someone who got fired. Someone who got hurt on the job. Maybe someone who never saw the better world they were fighting for. That's what I was talking about earlier. I wonder, what they would even think of what we got now. When we forget that, we start acting smaller than we are. We start saying things like, well, that's just how it is. Or at least we still have jobs. Never forget that one. But instead of hold on, this is what we should actually be saying. Hold on. What's actually fair here? The Teamster story at its core is about dignity, about a guy who looks at, his calloused hands, his burnt skin, his broken back. He looks at his hands and he says, these hands built something. They deserve respect, not worship, not handouts, fucking respect. So what do you do with all of this? And guys, I'm not here to tell you what local to join or who to vote for. That's your business. That's your decision. But I am here to say this. Stop acting like your work matters. What? I said that wrong. Stop acting like your work matters more than you. You matter. And start acting like your work means a lot. It's not just work. Your job matters. It matters a lot. It does. and you're of value and your job is of value. And you're the person who performs that every day. If you're already union, show up. Be at the meetings. Go. Go to the meetings. Ask questions. Because, especially in the union, knowledge is everything. If you don't get something, you start to make up your own thoughts. You really miss at the core what it's about. Get involved, get educated. Hold leaders accountable. Don't just pay dues and then complain in the fucking parking lot. Sick of hearing that. You are the union. The members are the union, are the local. If you're not union or you hate the idea, fine. It's okay. Everybody has the right to their own opinion. But don't let anyone convince you that you're powerless. The moment you and your coworkers start talking, comparing, backing each other up, being a team, you're already doing the first steps of what those wagon drivers did. Stop suffering, guys. Stop suffering in silence. Stop believing the lie that you're replaceable. You might be replaceable as an individual body in a uniform, but the workforce together, now that's a different fucking story. Companies like to flex their size, their profits, their market shares. I like to remind them that none of that moves a fucking inch without a human being turning a key, throwing a case, or hitting start on the fucking machine. I want you to picture something, guys, real quick. It's late. It's cold. There's mud all over the streets. Horses snorting. Their breath in the air. A line of wagons just stopped. Drivers standing there, arms crossed, nervous as hell because they know they might get fired, beat up, maybe even worse. Bosses are furious. Police are watching. Replacement workers are waiting, fucking scabs. And one driver, some no-name guy we've never fucking heard of, no name, we'll never read about, looks at the wagon in front of him, looks at the guy next to him, and says, if you don't move, I don't move. And guys, that's the birth of a movement. Not a fancy speech, not a press conference, just one working man refusing to stand alone. Over 100 years later, the name for that stubborn, imperfect, powerful group of people is still the same. Say it with me. Teamsters. Teamsters. And whether you're a union or not, whether you're in a truck, on a dock, in a warehouse, or stuck in a cubicle, you are living in a world shaped by that kind of courage. So next time you're beat up from work, driving home in silence, wondering if any of this matters, remember the wagons, remember the horses, remember the guys who made $2 a day and still decided they deserved more. And then ask yourself, what would happen if we stopped acting small? Thank you, guys. Appreciate it as always. If you're listening to this on YouTube, please, guys, community is everything. I want to build it. I want to keep going. Like, share, and hit the bell so you hear the next one. If you're on the podcast, leave a review, guys. Let me know what you think. Let me know what I could do better. Let me know what you want to hear, maybe solo or interview. Just let me know. Shoot out. Community is everything to me, guys. This has been The Garage Mind. I'm Tony, as always. If this episode hit you, do me a favor. Send it to a coworker. Talk about it on break. Argue about it. Disagree with it. Whatever you want to do with it. Just don't let it die as background noise. Because the moment we stop talking about where we came from is the moment we start getting pushed back there. They start winning. The corporate world does. So guys, grab a bourbon, pet your dog, kiss your family, and tomorrow, go back out there. I know I will, knowing you're part of something bigger than your route, your store, your dock. You are not alone in this. I'm Tony. This is The Garage Mind. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.